Hi, I'm Pastor Brian Shear, and with me, as always, is Pastor Glenn Hurst, and this is our final episode of Season 3, Calvary Cafe, Season 3, and what we've been doing this past several months through the summer months, we've been inviting people in from the church to give testimony. Testimony of what God is doing in their lives individually and personally, whether it's in their ministry. And a lot of people have given testimony of how God's gifted them with a certain ministry here at Calvary Chapel. Others have been coming in and talking about how the verse-by-verse teaching has changed them. And others have been talking about just God's work in their life and how certain things have changed them. And that's what we have with Megan today. Megan's going to come in, or is coming in, and she's going to be talking about recent events and how that has changed her, and how she's able to see God's will for her life more clearly. And so it's a powerful testimony. I've heard part of it myself, and I don't know, have you heard any?
I have.
And it's a wonderful testimony.
It's amazing how God can use what seems like tragedy to do so much good with.
Right.
And boy, Megan is a real
Right.
powerful story of that.
And while we're on that subject, a lot of people, we were just talking about it in the last episode with Patrick, Christianity is not necessarily a bed of roses. Christianity is filled with hardship, and the purpose of that hardship is to bring us closer to God. That's what God is wanting to do. It's not about this world, it's about what's coming.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're hanging on to this world, certain things of this world, and God's loosening our grip because he's got something so much greater for us. And I think Megan has come to realize that in just recent months. And it's a powerful testimony, and I pray that you're blessed by it as I have been.
Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Megan Turner. I go here to Calvary Chapel. I've been a Christian for 10 years, and throughout that 10 years, there's been a lot of things that I could say that God has done for me, a lot of things that I could give testimony to, but I'm going to speak on the most recent chapter. So in 2020, I had been going to this church for a little while and was really involved, and God had kind of taken me deeper, but I just didn't have the world totally out of my system, and I still felt like there was something out there for me. I still felt like there was something that I was missing, something that I needed to seek out through drugs or alcohol or whatever my own idea of peace and life and goodness was. And so during the pandemic, I kind of went off on my own way, and I was still in relationship with God. I just wasn't as close to God as I needed to be. And I got further and further and further away. I wasn't praying as much. During this time, I had a baby and went through postpartum depression. And that was one of the darkest and scariest things that I've ever gone through. It stole so much from me. And I can't help but to think that if I had been closer to God, that wouldn't have happened. But I can't say that for sure. But so it kind of went over the course of years. It doesn't just go away for some people. It kind of bleeds into everything else. And so it got to, my child is 2, and it was May of this year, and things got really dark. I was considering suicide every day. I was in a very dark place. Could not find joy, could not find peace. And I don't know, I just lost myself completely, and was also kind of sick, was smoking cigarettes. I'd smoked cigarettes for a very long time and was constantly coughing stuff up constantly. And so I quit smoking I didn't want to quit smoking, but I quit smoking because I had to, and quit smoking weed at the same time. And then the next day after I quit smoking, well, I guess I should go back. So it was the night that I quit smoking. I was watching TikTok, and this TikTok came across my feed that was like, God's calling all of his true worshipers home. He's calling the ones that have been out there in the wilderness for years. He's calling you home. You have a purpose. You have a reason to be here. You are here to worship God. And so, and I just knew that he was talking to me. I just knew that that was for me. And so the next day, I didn't even wake up and seek God, because I'm still in my mess mentally. And so I got up, and me and my kid went to Jonesboro, but I just felt the Spirit of God on me so heavy all day long. And he was just I just felt like he was kind of chasing me down and trying to get me to submit, trying to get me to just worship, just open myself up to him. And so I did. I worshiped, and then it kind of just went on from there. He just kept seeking me out, and I thought that it was because I quit smoking cigarettes. And I was like, oh, you're finally doing what you're supposed to be doing. Now he's coming, now he's trying to, or I thought he's trying to support me through this because he knows I'm gonna need him. And that's what I just kind of went through. But I was so confused because he was calling me to worship him, calling me to get into my Bible, which I understand that, but how hard he was chasing me, how hard he was chasing me down, waking me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get up and pray and study and worship. And I'm like, I get that you want me to seek you out, but there was just this immense pressure, and it was the Lord is chasing me down. And why is he chasing me? Why is he chasing me like this? I'm like, is this all because I need help staying away from the cigarettes? Is that serious? I'm just I just didn't fully understand why, but I did it most of the time anyway. I'm gonna get up at 4 in the morning, and most of the time I did it. And so he's seeking me, and it brought me so much closer to him. I mean, within a month, we were going through things that tripped me up before over the course of years of, seeking him all the time, things that always kind of got me that I didn't understand or that confused me just made sense. We were on a fast track of walking with the Lord and learning how to lean on God and learning how to actually walk this thing out and make it work for the long haul, I thought. And I'm just so I'm learning, and I'm getting closer to him, and I know that he's right here. He's got me. My faith was increasing. That's all him. He did that. He sought me out. And then I went home one Friday, and we were going to go out and eat and do some stuff, and I just kept looking at my daughter, and I'm just you look yellow. You look kind of yellow. And we did a telehealth, and she was I think there's something going on. You need to go to the hospital, this and that. So we got in the car, packed up, and went to Haiti. And I knew on the way there, I knew something was wrong. I knew that something wasn't good. Sorry, hold on. So, we got to Haiti, and they asked us a bunch of questions and took her blood. And I could tell when they took her blood that something wasn't right. You could tell by looking at that vial of blood that they pulled out of her. It was colored differently. It just didn't look like blood. It didn't look like the same kind of blood that I've had pulled out of me numerous times. And I'm just what's wrong? Is there something not right with that? And she said, it just looks kind of thin. That's it. And we waited for a long time, and the doctor finally came in there, and he told us that he thought that she had leukemia. and that we would have to go to Memphis, and that they would be there to airlift her to Memphis very shortly. And it was very scary. But I left, and I went home. My husband stayed there, and I left. I came back to Kennett to pack a bag, and I was frantic, just not in my head, just all over the place mentally, of like, couldn't even pack a suitcase, was just throwing random stuff in a suitcase, just ridiculous. And I got to Memphis, didn't have anything I needed. But I remember on the way to Kennett, I was just in shock and just busted out laughing and was like, I understand now. I understand why now. I understand why you were chasing me so hard. I understand why you're pulling me close to you. I totally get it. And I knew in that moment that he had me. I knew in that moment that he had it under control. And I understand why he's pulling me so close to him. He's through the unwillingness to submit and to come back to him and to leave the world and all of these things, he's never changed. I have always been his. I have always belonged to him, whether I knew that or not. I've always been his, and he has gone to great lengths to remind me of that and to show me how much he loves me and how much he just wants a relationship with me and how much he wants me to understand that it's not just me being human and this God, but me as an orphan and he is my father, and he is the one who created me, and yet he's the one who sustains me. And so that's my testimony. And my daughter is now in remission, and she's doing good, and I praise him every day throughout this entire situation because I know that he's using it for good. And I just have to trust and have faith that he's got it, because he always has. So, all right, thank you for the opportunity to share this.